Greetings, I'm Pillar Nexus, the Ancient Gladiator, today with the first few rounds of Isle of Skye. We're playing with the big box, so we're playing with all the expansions. We've got the Druid board here. We've got the Borderland tiles. The tunnels are in there as well. Alright, so setup. We've got our starting tiles. We got our screens. This isn't part of setup, but it might as well just give everyone their 5 to start anyway. Their Borderland tile sets. Alright. Alright, so starting with blue, drawing the tiles. Try to shuffle well for the tunnels at least. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. See what we got here for each of the players. So we've got a lighthouse scroll, an isolated water feature here. A lot of scrolls for this player. I mean, they've got their options. A lot of ships over here. So let's take a look at what objectives we're going to have over the course of this game. Half point for every open water edge. Most whiskey barrels, most money, and mountain areas with brooches. Alright. So first we'll do the figure out what to discard and what to hold on to. So with everybody doing this at the same time, this would go a little bit faster. But playing by myself, I get to figure this out turn by turn. Alright. And then figuring out what people are willing to bid for stuff is always the tricky part. And like how much to hold back for buying things later. Alright. Price it out. Let's see. Alright. Okay. So everybody move screens. Let's see here. Okay. So that gets discarded, that's discarded, that's discarded. They go back in the bag. And then we look at the prices here. They're selling that one for 1, that one for 2, that one for 2. Alright. This one got priced up to 3. It's a lot, but it's a gold every turn, so might as well. Alright. Well, blue's got 1 left. And there's a nice, cheap tile over here. And then, so they'll have more whiskey to sell. Red, with the 1 gold that they held back, is going to buy the only other cheap thing available. And then yellow with their 4 is, now that I actually have the money to do it, is going to buy the thing that blue was hoping they would hold on to. Alright. All the money is gone. Those tiles are kept, and it looks like red got the advantage of tiles there. So then we go into the druid board for the second buy step. The start player can either buy one from the board or pay 5 and draw from the bag. You're not required to buy a tile on the second turn. But you can, if you don't buy a tile on the first turn, you can still buy in the second. So let's take a look at what we got here. Blue currently has 8 gold to work with. Getting only 1 tile is kind of rough, though. So let's look at what they got here. This is going to cost 5. And it's end of the game point for brooch. Here is 2 plus 1 is 3 for a tile that'll actually have the brooch and the farm and the sheep. Let's see here. This tile will provide this tablet. The stone tablets provide their little special powers. That one in particular, select a scroll on your territory and score it 1 more time. Well, I don't have any scrolls yet. I don't know if I'm going to do anything about it. Yeah, that's 5, that's 3, 2 and 1. It's 5, 3 and 2. That's 8. 2 for, oh, it's 11 because of 3. Can't afford it. That's going to be expensive too. 2 for every set of tower, lighthouse, brooch, and farm. See, I'm not pulling in brooches at the moment, but what I'm looking at is this 3 water openings. Yeah, that might be the one. Spend the 5 and take that one. And then do they slide down immediately? And then move the tiles down. Alright. At the end of the round, the last tile will get removed. You drew a tile. Buying tiles costs 1 less. Nice. Alright. Red has no money left. And yellow is down to 1. Yeah, having the big money at the end of a turn can make that difference. Alright, so actually placing the tiles here. You go there, connect that road, connect that whiskey. We'll go there, which will make things interesting over here. And then Borderland, go ahead and place, let's see, here and try to ensure the mountain gets completed. There, that actually gives us a broach to work with, and if it gets completed, it'll give us another whiskey. Alright. Red. The important thing is setting up the water openings for this first scoring. Alright. Need to get more whiskey for them. Alright. Let's focus on what can actually work out with scoring right now. That completes that mountain to no real advantage. So let's actually try to set things up a little bit more efficiently. Well, let's see here. Yeah, I have fun doing this whole game, figuring out how to complete areas and make them work out. So we still got roads going. We still got some water. This will have this to go off for scoring. This will contribute to this. This will actually score double for being complete later in the game. So this is probably the best we got out of all this for the time being. And then over here with yellow, all about setting things up for that early scoring. Oh yeah, it's probably, let's wait before we forget. Because we set it up there, we just try to build a mountain road that leads to here. Alright. And over here, got this set up. There's 4. Do we go ahead and do the... There's that interesting thing of how the borderlands work with the some of the scoring tiles. Let's see here. Borderline tile. Let's see. For a complete area. The count towards squares up and down side together, whether they apply a scoring tile or not. So, if I left these open, that would make that available for that first objective. Move that, opens the road that way. I'm just hoping for water with mountain at that point. Yeah, we do that to maintain the objective, and then we'll seal it off later, I think. And we'll set it up like that so we can just keep an eye open for a mountain this way. Continue the road, get more whiskey. Alright. Okay, that's everyone setting up their areas, and we score. A. Open water sides. Half point each. There's 2 points for blue. 1, 2, 3. Rounds Rounds down, it's only 1 point for red. And 1, 2, 3, 4 for yellow. It's 2. Alright. None of the borderlands flipped for getting occupied there. Alright. First player passes. The last of the druid tiles is discarded. And everything slides down. And then go on to the new round. So, set things up again. Money. It's 5. Oh, yeah. Round marker. 5, 6 for blue. I'll probably start taking a 2 at that point. Oop. Took 1 too many. Alright. Red. No extra with Skye connections anywhere, so the usual 5. Considering they ended last turn with nothing, it's going to be rough. And then yellow is Scott's 1, 2, plus 5, 7. And we'll go ahead and take 2 of the 2s. Alright. New tiles. Starting with red. This time, players are aiming for most whiskey. 1, 2, 3. And now we're starting to pull the mountain tiles. Or the tunnels. Which will add its own wild advantages and such. Alright. Alright. So setting things up with the tunnels in the mountains is going to get interesting. Yeah, because looking at what people might have to offer. And also what other people might be trying to go for. Alright, well, let's start pricing things out and figuring out what we can do without. They're gonna do without that one. And do without that one. Oh yeah, like some of the tunnels will have whiskey for victory points instead of money. I like to imagine it's more of the ceremonial mix rather than the usual stuff that's just sold at the tavern. Like this is for celebrating something special. Anyway, let's. Am I actually gonna get cattle though? All right, what are people willing to pay to keep this stuff here? Like you never know what someone is willing to put a price on high enough or not. So why it's kind of hard to do any kind of auction type of game solo. Some people will go wild with their prices or their bids. I still want to do the first 2 rounds for 20th Century and Infamy at some point. But again, figuring that out is going to be interesting. Alright. Okay. Yeah, price a little bit better than that. Alright. Alright. Everyone's got their prices and their leftover money, and here we go. So that tile got thrown away. That got thrown. Oop, that one got thrown. And then red's going to have their choice of if they can afford it, what they want to buy. That's the tricky thing about going first is hope you have a lot of money to buy what you need. So Brody's trying to set things up for brooches here. Maybe. Uh, Let me go and buy this from yellow. Yeah. And then yellow, with their new influx of money, they're trying to get towers too. If they keep this, that would help. But who's to say blue won't buy that from them? All right. They'll go ahead and spend their 3 and buy that one. Alright. And finally, blue, who now has a crap load of money, is probably gonna. Do they want to buy anything? Since they know why yellow bought the scroll, they might try to take that. But hey, here's just a cheap tile. Why not just buy the cheap tile? Does that make sense? Alright. Okay. All remaining gold is lost. The tiles go back to the people who put them up. And then we go to the druid board. Alright. The red player and their 2 gold is they're not getting anything. They're on the slow road. Yellow with their 4. This is 3. This is also 3. Because it's 0 plus 3. You know what? Maybe that's it. That's what we do. We take that. We take that tile. And from then on, to throw the money in. 6 down, but yeah. No, 3's enough. And why is there an ant on my table once again? Alright. Alright. So this tile right here, when you buy a tile from an opponent, you pay that much less. So that's a permanent discount, and that's going to come in handy later. Alright. And finally, blue, with their ton of money. Oh, yeah. First off, up to this. There's a straight up 4 points. And more whiskey. 1 for every completed mountain area. Let's look at the money I got here. We got 4, 9 to work with. That's let's scroll again. I think I just go for a point for completed mountain range. Alright. So that one's 3 and then 4 for the cost there. We take that one. And that updates to that. Alright. Actually placing tiles. This lack of whiskey is becoming a pain in the butt. We set up that borderland. But then the problem is that doesn't connect the way I need it to. I think what I end up doing is setting that up, preparing for that eventually. Yeah. Yeah, that's probably my best option is right there. Can't put anything here now. So this is permanently open. Let's see if that comes back to bite me in the ass later. Alright, here. Try to set up like that, then the whiskey's not connected, I don't get anything from it. Here. I need more mountains. Dang it. Let's see. And just start working on coming back around this way. Alright. Important thing is getting that worked on. Alright. And setting up maybe one more borderland somewhere. You know what? I've got enough open water spaces. We'll go ahead and place the tower one here, which will flip because that's connected. Now this whiskey here doesn't get me any money, but it does count for this. We have summoned the traders with the whiskey. Alright. And finally, blue setting up things over here. Got a tunnel. We set that up to complete that mountain. But then that's not connecting things the way I need them to. Which is unfortunate. That didn't work out. Why did I pick up this tunnel? Does not help. Alright, well, see what else we got here. The road to nowhere. Gotta connect the whiskey back to the cask. Alright. We'll set up mountains over here. Set up. No, because then that causes issues. I've planned poorly. Just trying to figure out how to transport everything. So we're probably not flipping that this turn. Yeah, this... There. We do that. That whole other road circuit to nowhere. This is a mess. It's entirely possible to take whatever tile, any of the tiles you bought this turn and just throw them away. Which I would hate to do, because it's useful. They're useful stuff, and I don't really want to give them up. But some things just don't work out the way would have liked them to. Another. Okay. Alright, let's see here. Or just do this and just get this out of the way. And another Borderland somewhere. None of these help the way I would like them to. Yeah, we'll just... Man, the options are difficult here. Then that's set up. Yeah, this is why you think about what you're trying to do before you try to do it. Alright. Well, it's something at least. Alright. Back, another round scoring. Starting with red. Red has, well, actually, start with everybody here. Whiskey. Regardless of where it is, it does not have to be connected because, right, it's one of those things. Alright, you got one for red. Yellow, they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then blue has 1, 2, 3. So it's 2 points for blue and 5 points for yellow. 2, 4, 5. Alright, last tile gets removed from the dolmen. And new tile. Points for ships. Alright. And yellow's going first for the third round. And this is why space matters. Games like these. And that was the other thing the Druid expansion added was the 50, 100 points tokens. Alright, so third round. A and C are getting scored. In addition, red's getting 1, 2 extra money this turn. And blue's getting 1 extra money. Alright. Actual income 5, 6, 7, 8. So we'll take that. Take that as a 5, a 2, and a 1. We'll see if I actually need to break them down. Red. 1 and 5 is 6. We'll go ahead and take 2 of the 2s. And finally, yellow. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'll take 3 of the 2s and 3 of the 1s. Alright. Drawing the tiles. We'll see how things, how this affects things. Yellow. 1, 2, 3. More tunnels. At least a tunnel. Okay. Alright. And then the emeralds. Alright. The secret Mountain Peninsula stash of ceremonial whiskey. There we go. Alright. So, trying to set things up to have open water spaces and try to keep money available. It's going to be interesting. I just realized I kind of screwed myself here by border landing that one. Alright. Oh yeah. I've completely screwed over yellow. They're not going to get any more red whiskey this game. Unless this gets completed. Alright. Well, no. Alright. So, all about figuring out, with more money to work with, the prices are going up. And it's gonna matter what you try to hold on to or don't. But also trying to keep some money available to actually get stuff. Alright. Let's think about what terrain we actually have to work with here. And then try to do this smartly. Yeah, make the prices too cheap, and it's just too easy for people to leave you with nothing and not much to show for it. Set prices high and hope that they're high enough to actually be what you need. Let's see here. Let's see a lot of ships. Maybe I don't need. We'll see. I have to see how it plays out. Is the thing. Okay, everybody's got their prices figured out here. Let's see. Discard all this. We'll back up again. Alright. Starting with yellow. We got 4 money to buy something. If I take the tunnel, think about this. Take the tunnel. I have to hope this doesn't get bought. And that's the difficult thing. Is when you go to buy a tile for your planet, but you're buying first, and someone buys the other tile you're expecting to hold on to. But nonetheless, here, have a shitload of money. Blue. They're 5, 6 to work with. Stand. The lack of mountains is a pain in the butt. For this option here, it's like, where are the mountains? So let's look at what we can actually work with here. Completing this water means it's sealed off and I don't get the point for it. But I'm trying to get ships for this if I don't lose it. There's a thought. If I play a tile here, it completes this. It also means I have to look for a very specific tile for this spot. If I don't get it, it's a problem. Alright. Also, holding on to money is going to be important. Let's go ahead and break down the 5. 2, 2, and 1. I'm going to... We'll spend 2 and take that one. Alright. Alright. And finally, red, who can buy anything. Complete this, it opens up more whiskey and another road. I'm already holding on to my own tile, guaranteed. So next up, where's a road with whiskey and is affordable? If I buy this one though, it's an absolute dick move. And sometimes, but it can also serve a purpose because I'm put it here. Because that would end up there. And that'll set that up. All right. Have your 3 money. Alright. And now yellow's kind of screwed on tiles this round. While blue is screwed on money. Alright. They keep all those. Alright. Now we go off to the druid board and yellow is looking at what we got here. Just straight up points. This is one of the more mitigating factors to keep in mind is looking for a tile that's out here and trying to aim to have enough money for it. In time, this will get cheaper. I can wait. I don't want to wait too long, though. Actually, that tile is useful. Yeah, it's... Yeah, I've already kind of shot myself in the foot with some of the choices here. I actually supposed to pay 1 less. Who did I buy the tile from? If blue kept all of theirs, and got one in the process. That means yellow bought the tile from red. So one is supposed to go back to yellow, I believe. So that's why I like doing stuff like this, is to get the rules down and make sure that I have them at the top of my head for whenever I intend to run the game. Next. Yeah, the druid powers are interesting. Your opponent always gets at least the gold they assign to their tile. Alright. Alright, so... Yeah, because the only places I'm going to be able to put things are going to be here. Here. Alright. Yeah, because I'll just have to work on it from a different direction. It'll be interesting. Alright. So we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. We take the expensive ass points for boats tile. Alright. Let's see here. Blue does not have enough to do the... Oh, wait. New tile. Not enough to do the one option to just straight up buy from the bag. But is there anything out here that's not stupidly priced? Completing grass regions. This could be complete. What I really want is this. And I don't have the money for it. That sucks. Red is going to... An extra tile is an extra tile. So let's go for it anyway. Go for the 3. But it doesn't contribute to anything I'm trying to work on at the moment. That's the tough part. Red has 7 to work with, but they're also mindful of this, and it's got to be worth not getting this to get something out of here. We've got one completed grass region here already. Everything here is a base of 8, which is more than I have. I find a spot to work in those tiles. This is grass all the way around. This is grass with a mountain. What's it gonna be? Grass and all the roads. Because, yeah, screw it. 3. Take that one. Figure out what the hell to do next. Alright. That's good sound that gets replaced. And we start with yellow setting up their tiles, and if they want to set up a borderland at all. Because this goes here, completes this. Yeah, getting screwed out of the tunnel kinda sucks. Getting screwed out of the roads is what really hurts, though. Because all this is going to be good for is having that and this. I'm not going to be able to get the points every turn. If I had set it up here, it's a road leading into the mountain, into the tunnel. It doesn't complete. It doesn't give the tunnel anywhere to go. So it's kind of screwed on that end. So we look at Borderlands to work with because more ships from somewhere. Yeah. More ships from somewhere. Yeah, we'll do this. That way it's still on the map and it makes use of that. Alright. Blue with their tiles. You know, there's not a whole lot of real ships unless I put out the borderland. Alright. So let's think about that. Here means that's completely screwed. Here, though, and it leaves some kind of opening to work with here. But it also limits this, which is going to be rough. Here. And then yeah, the road's getting screwed over to limit the whiskey is a problem. You can try to future plan set up there. But then that gets screwed too. The road to nowhere. Complete the water feature. Or just keep the road going this way. It's going to look really weird. What the hell? That's complete. That's not. Alright. And finally, red. The one tunnel to work with. There to flip that one. Here to flip that one. Oh, that's a problem. That's not what I needed to do. Back up the bus. Alright. Here. Have to set that up is the problem. And that keeps that road going. And yeah, this is where things just got be a gigantic pain in the butt. So this mountain range is now complete with 2 brokes for later on. Put that there. There comes a road. It flips to the road, and then it's got nowhere to go because it just dead ends. How many tunnels have been played so far? Because we know there's 12. There's one. There's two. It hits the field. There's three. Remembering how many tunnels are left before things get completely screwed over. Yeah, I guess we're going there. Just to keep the road going, keep the whiskey on point. Alright. So that don't flip, but hey. It's all good. And the round that goes away. And then we do scoring, starting with A. Open water spots. This is not open. This is closed in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is 3. For yellow. Blue is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Blue is catching up. Red's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is 2. Next is money. So, leftover money. So red and blue are tied. So let's see what happens when we got that tie happening. In case of a tie, each tie player receives the full 5 VP. And the two are second place is not awarded. So the two people who are currently behind are catching up. In fact, blue just took the lead. And then we'll go into the fourth round where we'll score whiskey and brooches. And then the fifth round we'll score everything but the whiskey barrels. And the last round we'll score everything but the open water. So here, there's the first 3 rounds of the game of Isle of Skye with the Druid board, the Borderlands, and for as little as I was able to do anything with the tunnels. Yeah. It's having to pay attention to these and at least make an effort to each of them over the course of the game is a very tricky little balancing act. It's definitely it's easy to get left behind if you just aren't paying attention. Trying to prepare for your endgame stuff, like the scrolls, is also important. It's entirely possible to just completely forget and then not have anything. Like right now with the point for completed grass areas, we're looking at this. Looking at this. So there's 2. This, however, is working a little bit better. Point per brooch. And because this is a completed area, it's going to be 2 points each. There's 10 points right there. And then, yeah, seeing the druid powers pay off in the long run will be nice. But yeah, Isle of Skye. If you can, get the big box version and try out everything. Everything adds a little bit. The Borderlands have to be the trickiest add to the game I've seen. Because now, this is screwed over here. This is screwed over here. I'm looking for a very specific tile for here. This got shut down here and here. I basically screwed over my own road for any further whiskey. So it's like, okay, well, I hope I'm happy with getting 10 gold every round, because that's where it's gonna be if I'm unless I'm behind the leader here. This mechanic, this getting extra gold is kind of nice. Just well, yeah. I'll Skye, find a copy, play it. Let me know how you think of it. Um, More tabletop games videos coming soon. Uh, more of the games that I've picked up recently. More of the first few rounds for games that I've had before. I still want to feature expansions for games that I picked up. And more stuff coming forward. Look forward to more fun with tabletop games. Uh, Plan for video number 1000. I'm going to be diving into. I should still have the rules for it, even though I don't have the pieces. One of the first games I made, never published, but I put it into a very nice box and sold it at an auction in Denver many, many, many years ago. If I ever find it again, that would be impressive. But for now, look forward to the MS Paint version, or if I get the new computer, the tabletop simulator of one of my old game designs. Alright, thanks for watching. It's Pillar. See you next time.